1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister has directed to ensure provision of internet facility in the far-flung and backward areas to enhance and improve the coverage of internet in the country. The President says Pakistan highly values its relationship with China, which has always stood by Islamabad in difficult times. Pakistan has demanded that independent human rights observers should be permitted to get first-hand view of the situation in occupied Kashmir and along the line of control. The National Assembly was informed today that 50% outstanding payments of the media have been cleared, while the remaining will be cleared in a week's time. Pakistan and China at the second round of bilateral political consultations have discussed cooperation in diverse fields and regional situations. In occupied Kashmir, a complete strike marked by anti-India demonstrations will be observed tomorrow to protest against India's moves to change the demographic composition of the state. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has directed to pay special attention to the improvement and provision of internet facility in the far-flung and backward areas of the country. He was chairing a meeting in Islamabad today to enhance and improve the coverage of internet in the country. The Prime Minister said provision of internet has become a need in the present times. He said easy availability of internet and its vast coverage are vital for utilizing the potential of the youth in real sense and to ensure easy access to education. He directed the Universal Service Fund to take necessary steps to provide easy and cheaper internet facility in schools. The Prime Minister was informed that Universal Service Fund is paying special focus on laying of optic fiber to ensure provision of better internet services. It was said that 1,800 kilometer long fiber optic has been laid in parts of Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in the last 2 years, while 4,600 kilometer optic fiber will be laid in 547 union councils this year. The President, Dr. Arif Alvi, says India is creating trouble for the China-Pakistan economic corridor and its belligerent attitude poses threat to regional peace and stability. Talking to Chinese Ambassador Yao Xing in Islamabad, he said Pakistan highly values its relationship with China, which has always stood by Islamabad in difficult times. The President assured that Pakistan would continue to support One China policy and stand by China on the core issues of national interest, including Hong Kong, Tibet, and Taiwan. The ambassador Yao Xing thanked the government of Pakistan for supporting his country's stance on Hong Kong and other issues of national interest. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says India has been targeting civilians along the line of control and committing violations of international laws. In a statement, he said the visit of the foreign media representatives to the line of control yesterday was very important. The minister said India always used double standards, but Pakistan took foreign media persons to the line of control to show them the reality. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said the President of the United Nations General Assembly will be visiting Pakistan on Monday. The minister said he will present before the United Nations General Assembly President Pakistan's stance and entire situation. The minister said India's relations with its neighbors, including China, Nepal, and Bangladesh, are getting tense day by day. Pakistan has demanded that independent human rights observers and international media should be permitted to get a first-hand view of the situation on ground in the Indian-occupied Kashmir and along the line of control. Addressing the weekly news briefing in Islamabad today, Foreign Office spokesperson Aisha Faruqi said Pakistan has consistently called upon India to allow the United Nations Missions Observer Group for India and Pakistan access into Indian occupied Kashmir in order to fully discharge its mandate given by the United Nations Security Council. For its part, she said Pakistan has always provided unfettered access not only to the United Nations Missions Observer Group for India and Pakistan, but to international media and independent observers. Yesterday, once again, the spokesperson said representatives from diverse international media outlets visited the line of control in Chirikot sector and witnessed for themselves the destruction and injuries caused to the civilian population along the line of control. Aisha Faruqi said they also witnessed the multi-layered surveillance and defense system along the line of control erected by India, which completely negates the hollow allegations by senior-most military and civilian officials of India and the constant propaganda by the Indian media against Pakistan on cross-border infiltration and the so-called launch pads. The Planning Minister Asad Umar has urged all the stakeholders to sensitize the masses regarding compliance of the standard operating procedures for the cattle markets, Eid al-Adha and Muharram al-Haram to prevent the spread of coronavirus pandemic. He was chairing a special session of the National Command and Operations Center in Quetta today. He said the next 2 weeks are very important, and in case of non-compliance of standard operating procedures, serious repercussions may have to be faced in the coming months. There is a significant improvement in the number of those recovering from COVID-19 in the country, with the total tally reaching 213,175. According to the latest statistics, the total active COVID-19 cases in Pakistan are now 50,307, 1,763 new coronavirus cases, and 32 deaths were reported across the country during the last 24 hours. 22,408 tests were carried out during the period. This is Radio Pakistan. The National Assembly was informed today that 50% outstanding payments of the media have been cleared. This was stated by the Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Shibli Faraz, during question hour in the National Assembly. He said the remaining 50% will be cleared in a week's time, as Prime Minister Imran Khan has given special directions on the matter. The Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, Ali Muhammad Khan, informed the House that the Senate has recently passed a constitutional amendment enhancing the seats of Balochistan Assembly. He said opposition parties should support the amendment when it is laid before the lower house for approval. The second round of bilateral consultations between Pakistan and China was held today. The Foreign Secretary Sohail Mahmood and China's Vice Foreign Minister Liu Yaohui held consultations through video link. They discussed Pakistan-China bilateral ties, regional situation, enhancement of cooperation to control COVID-19, CPAC, and strengthening of bilateral economic cooperation. Speaking on the occasion, the Foreign Secretary said Pakistan and China are strategic cooperative partners. In occupied Kashmir, a complete strike marked by anti-India demonstrations will be observed tomorrow to register protest against India's moves to change the territorial integrity and demographic composition of the state. The call for the strike and the demonstrations has been given by the All Parties Hurriyat Conference. The strike is aimed at protesting against the forcible eviction of people from their lands across the territory, especially those living near military camps. The Indian government's plan to construct 200,000 houses for the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh goons on these grabbed lands and arrest of thousands of Kashmiris in the recent days. China has warned that it will be forced to respond after the United States ordered the shutdown of its Houston consulate in Texas. Speaking at the daily media briefing in Beijing, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin said the move has severely harmed relations between the two countries. He described the U.S. allegations related to the consulate as malicious slander. The European Union states have agreed on common hygiene standards such as social distancing and wearing face masks on planes and at the airports to curb the spread of coronavirus pandemic. This was stated by the German Transport Minister Andreas Scheuer while addressing a European aviation conference in Berlin today. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and humid weather is likely to prevail in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, rain with thunderstorms is expected at a few places in Gilgit Baltistan and Kashmir. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.